This recipe is super cheap. It's leftover rice, leftover ketchup, leftover onions, leftover tomatoes. It's cheesy and it's super easy to put together. Hey, what's up? My name is Lucas Sin. I'm the chef of Junzi Kitchen. I'm also a proud member of the Shy Boys Club, and we are gonna make cheesy tomato rice today. It's a last-ditch effort to fuse those drunken K-Town nights with Hong Kong-style comfort food. The cheesy rice itself is the part that's from K-Town, and then the tomato sauce is the Hong Kong part. We're gonna make a sauce inside of a tiny little pot. Here's half of an onion. Not too thin, because you kind of want a little bit of structure. You don't want it to become nothing. That's that. Tomatoes, take eighths, small quarters. If you don't have these tomatoes, you can actually probably use canned tomatoes. This is the type of thing that was sort of invented by an idiot like me in the middle of the night, because it's not supposed to happen. Okay, cool. So at the end of all of this, kind of this is what you should have. Let's put some garlic in here too. Remove the ends if you love yourself. Take out the green parts because that's nasty. So I'm gonna chop the garlic. So the tomato part of this recipe, it comes from a Chachantian classic called gokju bafan, which is baked pork chop rice. Traditionally served with a pork chop. Sometimes the pork chop's a cutlet. Sometimes it's just broiled. Chopped garlic pieces we're gonna combine with the tomatoes. Save the rest. So now is the time to combine the rice. Super old, kind of leftovers from 2 days ago. And that's also farro back there. Farro would work probably really great. Barley, whatever grains you have left over. So however much rice you want to eat, this rice is already pretty seasoned. It's got caramelized shallots and millet and all these other wonderful seasonings and garlic in here already, so I'm not gonna go too crazy on the salt. Maybe for that amount of rice, let's do like 3 cubes of butter or something. The other ingredients that I like to put in this that I think take it to the next level are honey. This is Hong Kong honey. Use whatever you have. I was kind of playing off of the honey butter flavor profile. Maybe a teaspoon and a half over here. Maple syrup will probably be pretty good in this. And this is tamarind vinegar, but you can use any type of vinegar you'd like. And apple cider vinegar, that would work great. Rice vinegar, salt, just a touch, and then black pepper. Super, super generous with the black pepper. Other things that would be good in here, if you're feeling adventurous, paprika would probably be great. Dried spices, maybe za'atar would be kind of fun in here. Thyme. Mix it up a little bit, and then you're gonna wanna put cheese in there. Handful, kind of covering it, so it looks like a gloopy drunken mess. Mexican cheese. Sorry, Mexico, but yeah, mostly cheddar and Monterey Jack. But whatever you have in-house will be good. Mix it up, and then that goes into the microwave. 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half, whatever gets the cheese melty. Cheesy rice, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Almost every single meal I make includes the microwave. It's my favorite cooking utensil. Okay, we're gonna make the sauce. So, I love cooking in pots because pots are basically small woks. I think pans are generally speaking overrated. They're only good for things like quesadillas, but don't quote me on that. Okay, high heat, tiny bit of oil. Oil's hot, onion goes in. Trying to get it barely cooked. Not trying to make it into nothing. Once the onions are picking up this the tiniest bit of color, you want to put your tomatoes in. And the garlic. Don't add the garlic in the beginning because it's gonna burn. Keep it moving. Probably been about a minute. I haven't added any salt or anything to it. Once it's starting to soften up just a tiny bit, you want to take it off. Bring the pan back onto the flame. Turn your heat down just a tad. And then we're gonna give it a nice amount of butter. Butter is melted. Add a touch of flour. Low heat. The point is to thicken the sauce, not to give it too much color. This is the only recipe in the entire Chinese canon that I'm aware of that uses a roux. Probably because it's a Hong Kong appropriation of a Western style baked pasta, baked rice dish. Tomatoes go back in. And then cold water. Want to bring the temperature of the pan down before you bring it back up again. High heat, wait for that to boil. Cheesy rice goes inside of the Dutch oven. Use whatever oven-safe bowl that you have. Tomato sauce is boiling. Salt to taste. You don't want your onions to be cooked through, you barely want your tomatoes to be cooked through. And then we'll finish it with ketchup. Heinz, best of the best. Be generous. Hong Kong style tomato sauce. This is basically born around the 50s during the British colonial rule. And in lieu of fresh tomatoes, the good people of Hong Kong would use something like ketchup because it was sweeter and more delicious than tomatoes, but also because it was a cheap substitute for that sort of thing. In Hong Kong, we call it sin ketchup, which means fresh tomato sauce. Maybe a touch of sugar. Also, if you have a pork chop lying around, you should definitely put the pork chop in here. And then we're gonna go in with tomato sauce. Don't cover the whole thing because you kind of want to see some of the rice. Put some of the tomato chunks in there. Low moisture mozzarella because it melts nice and it's what most people have. Again, be generous with it. This goes in, broil until the cheese melts. That's it. If you were short on time, whether it's a matter of a lack of will or you have to get out of the door or whatever, you can do this whole recipe in the microwave. You just don't broil it and you don't get that burnt cheesy goodness, but whatever, your loss. Check that out. Oh my goodness. Look at this shit. Look at this. Pork chop rice without the pork chop. Extra cheese. There's cheese on the bottom and then there's cheese on top. What is this? Who does this? Ketchup is sweet. It's pretty good. That was the easiest recipe in the world, but just because things are simple doesn't mean you don't have to think about it. Every single thing, as simple and silly as it may seem, probably has some nerdy socio-historical cultural background. Really interesting how Chinese cuisine could reappropriate Western cuisine in specific historical circumstances. And that tomato sauce holds really, really well. So you can chill that down and use it the next day for pasta. Thank you for hanging out. Get cooking, stay thoughtful, stay creative. Ooh la la.